And some artists, I don't know, they're on the line with us. Natasha, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, Elvie?
Oh, what's up? How you doing?
Well, I'm pumped. Super pumped to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, Natasha, let's start from the beginning. Before you start making music, where are you from?
I'm from Venezuela, but
Okay.
I'm living in Miami, and I've been here for like 20 years, so I'm Miamian.
Okay. Now, Miami is that's a whole nother world. I don't even think they consider Miami part of Florida. It's like its own entity. It's its own entity.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Miami is like considered another country to some people.
That's funny. I never heard it that way though. All right, so listen. So you went from Venezuela, then you went to Miami. What was that change like for you?
Well, I mean, I came here super young. My mom brought me here when I was 5, so I couldn't really tell, the difference between
Okay.
like Venezuela and Miami. But I speak Spanish. I have my Venezuelan roots with me, and I always try to bring that into the music, which I'm doing urbano latino.
Yes. All right. So here's the thing. My mom is the one who told me. She was like, "Oh my God, I'm surprised you don't have just like a regular Spanish show on Indie Jam." She's like, "I know you do your show and you do so good, but you need to touch it with your roots." And I start laughing. And then you know what happens? I get your music submission. I'm like, "Oh, if that isn't a sign, I don't know what is." And I was like, "Oh my God, this is a sign," because now I keep getting more and more Spanish music, and I'm just like, I don't know, I might have to do this.
Those are signs of the universe. Gotta listen to them.
I know. So, Natasha, when did you first start making music?
We like professionally, it would have to. I started this in the pandemic.
Oh wow.
I had an epiphany. I had a moment where I was like, listen, like, you're miserable at what you're doing right now. You're working a corporate job. Like, you're not really, happy with yourself. My passion has always been music. So it was a time where I was like, you know what, I'm going to take this time and really like focus on original music and kind of tap into the Spanish flow.
Wow, that's awesome. What were some of your inspirations to make music? Because I know that, for some artists, they start young, and for those, they just love music their whole entire life, and then eventually it works out for them. So who are some of those artists that you listen to that, like, help inspire you to make music?
Ooh, definitely, I would have to say Nathasha, Karol G, Shakira, J-Lo. Those are, like, my top 4, like, artists that I'm always like, wow, like, I hope one day that I can collaborate with them in a song, because they, like, every song they put out are bangers, like, all of them.
Especially Karol G. I don't know. She's in her bag right now. It's crazy.
She is. Yeah, like, she is on one right now.
It's just crazy. Like, she can make no wrong song in my eyes. And
yeah,
Nathasha too. Like, ever since I heard, they used to be like Nati Nat, and I had no idea when I heard in the background who or what anybody was talking about until I heard her music. And I was like, okay, I get it. Like, that reggaeton is something that has been so deep rooted, and I don't even want to say just Puerto Rico. I would say every country, because even people like Nicky Jam says he went to Colombia and his music took off there. Like, he was like, it was the best experience for him getting outside of Puerto Rico and touching into other places. So it's just, the world was not ready for just Spanish music in general, I would say. And now that it's just so big, I don't even know how to explain it. Just think of Latin Billboard. Like, that's just insane to me that it has its own category. Like, that's just wild.
Yeah, and the fact that, like, women are dominating the reggaeton genre.
They're killing it.
Yes, and that's when I was like, you know what? Like, it's such a male-dominated genre, and these girls are killing it. So it's like, I was like, this is the time. Like, the time to do it is now.
Well, you know what? When you think about it, and you think about Latin music, we've always had, like, I can't even say J-Lo, because she didn't really, like, she wasn't, like, all Spanish, But let's see. Obviously, Selena, like, made a huge impact for Spanish music.
With that. Wait, you're talking about Selena, like the cumbia techno, or Selena? Yes.
Well,
yes,
both. It doesn't matter. Once she finally converted over here, there was no stopping her, you know, when she hit the States. Because she originally, if I'm not mistaken, she originally just spoke English, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
and then she brought out the Spanish music, which was like, that's when I fell in love with her. I was like, oh my god, this is her calling. She needs to do this. But then obviously she went to English music. I was like, oh my god, this girl can do no wrong. It's awesome. So go ahead.
No, go ahead. No. Go ahead.
When did you like discover your sound? Like, when did you know that like I'm good at this and this is something that I want to take serious?
A year ago. I'm not gonna lie to you. A year ago, at first I was like experimenting with like, you know, like pop, like American pop, and I was like, like this is not me. Like I love Spanish music, so I want to sing in Spanish. And prior to Que Paso that I released a couple of months ago, I had released my first like urbano género called Menea. And that one ended up on some playlist in Argentina on Spotify. And like I had thousands and thousands of streams and people DMing me like randomly on Instagram saying, hey, like I just listened to your song, like está chévere, like I love it. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, this, like, it was a hit. Like for me, it was a hit. And I was like, wow, like, you know, I have to listen to what, you know, the feedback is. And, you know, I have a couple new songs that are not out yet, but they are like they're in that flow of like el urbano, and it's like, you know, I really feel comfortable with the sound, with the flow, and it's like that's when I was like, you know, I have to stick with my Spanish roots and, you know, give it a little bit of Nathasha sazon.
I love that. I love that. A little bit of sazon. That's awesome. Yes. So, okay. So, a year ago, you're loving how everything sounds. You're ready to put out music. Where are you recording music? Where were you doing everything?
Okay, so crazy story. My boyfriend's best friend's cousin is a producer here in Miami that has worked with like Farruko, Justin Quiles, and
that
he
is
was
amazing
like,
connections.
Yes,
right
and
there.
and he was like, I was like, why didn't you tell me this like 2 years ago? Like, why are you keeping this to yourself? So we connected. We did Que Paso. We did Menea. And I was like, yo, like, you know, I really love how we work together. I love that he knows what I want to hear, like what I want the song to sound like. And just everything kind of just flowed so naturally, so good. And I love the recording studio. Like, I hope one day I have my own house and I have my own recording studio, because it's such a fun time seeing your creative side come out and see it like in a song. It's like, wow, like I did that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that having your own studio is such an advantage for artists, because it's such a process when you have to continuously record and record and record over and over and over again. That costs a lot of money when you think about studio time before you're even ready to like mix and master or mess around with anything, you know? Like, it's just so much time that goes into prepping just for the song alone. I always encourage every artist, like, if you get an opportunity, buy your own equipment and at least your vocals, you know? Like, do your vocals on your own and then send it off to the engineer and see what they can do with it. Because it's just like, I don't even know. I can't even tell you how much some artists have told me they've spent on studio blocks. I'm talking about like $300, $500. And I was like, like for the month? And they're like, no, that was like for that session. I was like, oh my God.
It's so expensive to create music.
It is like, very expensive.
And if you have a really good producer, like that ranks up. Like, I'm so grateful that, you know, the guy that I'm working with, since he's like a close friend, like, you know, he gives me the hookup, but it's still like expensive, you know, so I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able
producer engineer that has worked with Farruko. His discount is not nothing probably compared to what other people pay, you know, like that comes with experience and connections, and I don't even know how to explain. Like, I can imagine if a producer engineer works with, you know, bigger artists, if they really love your song, that at some point they're like, hey man, what do you think of this? Hear this real quick. And you're like, oh my God, Faruko just listened to my song. Like,
exactly.
Like what?
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that one day that happens. And, you know, it always takes for one person to listen to your song and like the right time, the right moment for the song to explode.
I'm gonna tell you this, Natasha. I'm not gonna say who because I don't know for sure. But next year, you're gonna be on like a life high with your music, and you're gonna be skipping your way into that studio, and there's gonna be somebody big in there, and you're gonna be like, holy crap, this is it. This is the moment that this is why you were meant to do what you were doing, when you were doing it, how. It's gonna happen next year. I believe it. And you're gonna go into that studio. Yeah, you're gonna go into that studio, and you're gonna see somebody, and you're gonna think, oh my God, never in a million years did I think that I would be doing this right now. And then you're gonna be like, man, LV was right.
Yes, I have the hugest smile on my face because I believe in that so much.
Yeah.
Like speaking it into existence.
Yes.
I'm a huge believer in that, and I've set a lot of goals for me next year, and those are one of the goals. Those are one of the goals.
One thing I learned, and I did it last year, I literally made like a vision board for my year this year. Things I wanted to accomplish for myself and things I wanted to accomplish with the radio station. It was such an amazing, gratifying feeling knocking things off and looking at the vision board I created for last year and just being like, wow, I cannot wait to do this. Like, I'm excited to do it in just what we have, like a couple weeks left. Like, it's amazing what you can accomplish in 1 year when you really, like, set your mind to it, and you put out those manifestations, and they just come back tenfold. It's just such a beautiful thing, and especially for you artists. I mean, I can only imagine with all, like you even say, well, okay, you were working a regular job, right, and then you're doing music. I can't imagine how much harder you're working right now just to be able to fund your music.
Hell yeah, I'm a bartender. That's what I do.
You giving the extra.
That is the only way to have a job that's part-time where you make good money as if you were working full-time, but have that amount of time to focus on music, on writing, on creating, because that was the problem that I was having. I didn't have time to write music and think about it, and I was like, I can't do this. I feel like my life is passing by, and I can't keep on pushing it off. I have to decide now. Now's the time to decide.
Well, I'm glad you made the decision to do it, because there's no better feeling than making your music, and then I'm sure you guys at some point go back and listen to it, and you're like, wow, I love it. This is it. This is the one.
Yep.
Do you play your music? You say you're a bartender. Do you play your music where you bartend at?
So I bartend at this really luxury restaurant, so they definitely do not play my music, but I'm always talking.
Come on, Latin night.
I know, right? I'm always talking to my bar people, and I'm always like, hey, I'm a singer. You should listen to me on YouTube or Spotify. And some of them have actually followed me and listened to as I'm there, and they're like, oh my God, that's so bad. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. Because you never know who is sitting at my bar. You know, it could be the bar that I'm at is a really, really hot spot for celebrities. Yeah. So you never know who's there.
You don't. You better keep those. What are those things you guys use? Those barcode scanner things that has all your links, your Spotify. I would keep those on me, and if I see somebody, I'd be like, here you go. You don't even got to give them business cards no more. As long as they scan that, all your social media will pop up, and they can just follow you on everything and listen to your music.
Yeah, I've seen those actually. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's next. I want to make sure you get those. If you don't get it before the end of the year, at least it's a good start to next year. And literally, I remember when I started Indie Jamz, I would go to events and I would just give out business cards to just the most random people. People that I didn't even think in a million years would ever come be on the show, and just give it to them, because I just wanted everybody's support. So you should try it. Get those scanners, put those out there. And like I said, you never know who you're going to meet there, and you never know, like you said, your bar is popping, so you never know who's going to walk in and be ready to listen to your music.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. That is on my list, because I think that's very, scan it. And somebody told me about this, a couple of days ago. They're like, you should do that. I'm like, I should.
I had once. I had this, this thing on the back of my phone. They could like tap my phone, and then they can follow me like on all social media too. I forgot what it was called. I can't even think of it because I just didn't like it on my phone at some point. But that was another thing that works. I think it's cool, like the day and age we in, where you can get creative and find different ways for random people to follow you on social media versus the old school, hey, you know, here's my Instagram. Like, you don't even got to do that no more now, and you don't got to send people to YouTube. Just like, hey man, scan this, boom, and they're in all your stuff.
That's how it is, word of mouth. I actually have my car. I have my single literally all over my car with all my social media. So I'm like, if you're waiting, if you're at a red stoplight behind me, you're gonna be curious to see what's going on.
You have the wrap on your car.
Yeah.
Oh, that is actually brilliant, man. That's like one up on whatever I was saying.
Because I wanted to do like those mobile trucks that like you see on the streets.
That
was
really
so expensive.
Cool. I don't know.
And I was like, let me make my car this.
Listen, Natasha, I was not expecting you to say that at all. That is awesome. I'm shocked right now. What colors?
Well, it's green. The majority is green. So it's like my picture green. It's a lot of bright colors. So you're definitely gonna want to look at it when you see my car.
They're like, oh my god, I wonder who's in that car. Like,
exactly. Yeah,
that's crazy.
You know, you gotta do what you can to get yourself noticed.
Hold on, I got in-house gentleman by the name of Logic. He's super creative. He does like all the merch here for like artists and stuff. So I'm about to tell him after this. I'm like, listen, if you're not doing raps next year, I don't know what you're doing. These artists want raps, okay? They want their cars wrapped. But all right, cool. Listen, obviously, I feel like I could talk to you forever, but we have your music here. Can you tell us a little bit about the song?
Yes. Okay. So "Que Paso" is based on this, it's how I met my boyfriend at this bar in Wynwood, and it's kind of like the story of like, you know, how we like connected with like, you know, it's a salsa Latin place, so it's how we connected with dancing, and then basically I was the one that, you know, asked for his number. I was ready, and it takes you through the whole story of how we met, how we're together, like, you know, y qué pasó, so everything's like, and what happened, you know, so there's like different scenarios in the song, and you're like, oh my god, so like, are they together? And it's been 4 years, so you know, that's the product of the song.
Yeah, que pasó. That's what happened.
Exactly. And it reminds you kind of Miami when you listen to it, because there's like tropical, it's like very tropical like beats, and you're like, you know, like bumping your head. So it's something that you can definitely listen to on your way to like a party, to a pregame, or like when you're just vibing with your friends and you want to hear something like, you know, like I love the song. It's my favorite one so far that I've released.
Yeah, well, we got it here, and we're about to play here in a second. Real quick, I do gotta ask, because I know Miami is like such a, it's just such a big place. Like I said before, I don't even consider it like Florida. I just think it's just Miami. Yeah. But what is it like out there for artists and stuff? Are you connected in like the local music community?
So that's where I'm trying to grow myself here, because there's so many new artists, especially in Miami. Everybody, you know, is trying to do something. So I'm trying to get into more open mic stuff, trying to see if I can get myself into like small little festivals. It's hard, but I'm trying to get myself noticed in Miami. I actually did an interview for a Spanish TV, 2 interviews for a Spanish TV station here in Miami. So that was cool that I was able to do that. So, you know, little by little, we're conquering the city of Miami.
All right, cool. I definitely have some promoters and stuff out in Miami, even Fort Lauderdale if you want to step out, you know, of Miami a little bit, but definitely that whole region. We have some great promoters out there, and they throw some events like every Monday, and, you know, some other stuff in Miami too. So I'll just send those your way. If you ever want to, perform, you can go check those out. And then, obviously, I hope one of them, you end up meeting somebody that is like, oh my God, this girl can't go undiscovered. So, and
that would be awesome.
Yeah. So, well, that's why I tell every artist that goes, I'm like, man, if you guys just go out there and show out, how can somebody not remember you, Like, if you give it your all, if you get on that stage and whether you sing, you rap, whatever you do, if you leave your heart on that stage, I guarantee you there's going to be somebody in that crowd that remembers you and is going to want to work with you. But if you just go up there and be like the last person that was on there, then, there's not much to remember there. So I hope that you guys are killing it when you get on stage. Stage presence is just such a big deal. But look, we have your song here. I always ask every artist when they come on the show if you can give some advice, some words of wisdom to the other artists out there listening right now. Maybe it's a female and she wants to make music. Maybe it's a male, he wants to cross over from English to Spanish, Spanish to English. Just based off your personal experiences with music right now. I know it's only been a year, but is there anything that you can tell them and share with them?
Yeah, so I always told myself, to never doubt your talent. There's going to be people who don't like your music, and it's not because you're not talented, it's because it's not their cup of tea. So don't let that, discourage you from continuing, for pursuing a music career. So that my biggest advice is to, be your biggest fan and believe in your product and your voice, and you're going to get so much further than you ever thought you could.
Wow, I love it. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Nathasha. We do have your music here. If you could, please just let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and where they can get your music.
Definitely so. You can follow me on every social media platform. It's Vocally Tosh. That would be TASH at the end. And then you can listen to my music on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. You just have to search Nathasha Rumbos, and you can go to my website, nathasharumbosmusic.com, and you can find everything you need to know about me and my music. And thank you so much, LV, for having me. It was awesome.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed our interview.
Yes, and you're always welcome back. Make sure you keep making music, keep doing what you love, put all that passion into it, and especially if you have something exclusive that you want to drop, come back and check in with me, because we got you here, right here on Indie Jamz.
I love it. Yes, I will do that. Thank you, LV.
You're welcome. Nathasha, we have your song, Que Paso, all queued up. Why don't you go ahead and introduce it?
Yes, so you're about to listen to Que Paso by Nathasha Rumbos.
Conocí en el patio, te quitaste la respiración y yo sabía que tú eras mío porque te vi chequeándome. ¿Y qué pasa?